break into Wasaba. Yamako Abasumasa are joining you Power FM and I think so. Was actually live with TVSYZ. You know, Honorable Kwaku Ricky Tegan and our Member of Parliament, Cape Coast South in Peswaso, and I think so, Kane Deputy Finance Minister, and I think so, Yane Dogota, where ye lecturer, so our Dr. Nene Adams as a footay, where ye financial economics adjunct lecturer, School of Graduate Studies, and our University of Professional Studies, Accra, Umiana, Yawa, Yedinko. Now, Honorable Kwaku Ricky Tegan Gusua. Okasa for media budget review the na yen hwe ni mu say be koso but no dey nam IMF ya ye we doc honorable to us.
Okay, and the yenya agreement in principle, there were two options before us in the agreement. I mean, this is the agreement with the commercial bondholders, external commercial bondholders from Eurobond. Okay, when we say external debt, about $30 billion.
That's right.
Okay, so $30 billion, no. The friends say bondholders and the cover 14 billion.
Where external?
Where external?
Okay,
external. See, domestic in which pension, bondholders account and now a whole lot of mess. But BB. Now, external are difficult. External are in two parts. One was an agreement with the bilateral, because multilateral IMF for there's not much aid there, as long as we continue to pay them. Now, bilateral China for in the past, China for only what they call the Paris Club. Na China ka almost 2 billion. China for Sabeka. Almost a negotiation. Again, more or less, is an agreement in principle, because these countries, will have to go to some of them to their parliament to get some ratification to the thing. And with the bondholders, they have to go to their shareholders, because countries, they are based in countries, but investment, banks, pension, funds, insurance funds, and so many other, institutional fund holders. And the agreement in principle. Now, and there, we expect the government or the finance minister to come and tell us where we are with all this.
Yeah, agreement in principle.
Yes. Because it doesn't seem to fall in line with exactly what the situation is. And that is, when you agreement in principle, I just say, many why a business, and I negotiate, say, make do I can't pay, until Obama arrangement, but before, you two shareholders. So you have to go and discuss it with your shareholders. Say, could send your name a call dinner or see you to meet you. Until these are the options before us. Either say ebe take no so amano na wetua and I say be able pia kana kwechi na wetua ne kakrakra. So one option is say sika no betua ni nyina ka odi no betua ni nyina. But what you don't have is the physical space. You can say physical space. Utua sa kana unye bibia anya ho bibia.
That's right.
And I say e kanu yehu say wa wanhwe ye kanu untua. Nti ye nti so ma ho ba ye tisema wo dia also utua kana kanu ma ho. Nti we dey ka 100 million. Yes, ye betumi am 40 million ya tiso am. Na chese the 60 million I say are you due.
So in this case Ghana wa hefa.
And now sisiano Ghana it was our two options. You elected which option we are going for. But the finance minister already on the Jomu a president home for
so much
no.
Yeah.
Okay, one option. A normal option. I'm see a bit tranquil. And no, a be a reduce a yinamona, a bit we restructure, a bit a repayment no acquittal.
Okay.
Basically, restructuring your debt is just taking maybe a fresh loan to push, to settle the old loan and start a new agreement. And the other option, any there, you buy a haircut. amount be a principal ni the coupon payment as an interest no. You better to swam. Yet it is now you have to start repayment. Don't forget, say at the end of the year, 2022, Ghana government say Otia the external debt mainly the commercial debt or she owned to Mintia. So it was a singular action taken by the government of Ghana, so to Mintia, and he wants to negotiate the debt. That time or IMF.
That's right.
Now, since he started your bonds, Eurobond, Fichukufu Abeso, yeah, 17 Eurobonds, 17 tranches of Eurobond. Kufuor back home. 2071, I think, to 2017, and a 10-year bond for 750. And I answer your buyer, answer NDC, Mills Mahama, in fact, Mills Krawan, Mills Mahama, 8 years now, 4 Eurobond to a tune of about 3.750 billion.
Billion, yes.
Okay. And 12 na akanya, the 12 na akano, they were all done by the MPP. And the situation yewom sisi a eneno.
The minister kano eneno. Mo pese wo sini PA say one eye no kriampa. Se watimi ne omo a ye di omo ka wa manone. Akokasa ma omaji atum say ye kano ye mpia nko nenim. Eno na mo pese mo hunu.
And the real terms.
Okay.
Because minister no na makeka bibi, would baby or say almost save 4.4. No, they've got fresh money.
That's right.
Of 4.4 billion. Look, my Eurobonds wage for over 20 years. Okay, before government and in government. The all canon, I don't follow it. Okay, what they cut 13 or 14. First of all, another thing.
Yeah.
Eurobonds, you tear me and you pay. Since you started Eurobond.
Wow.
4 now you due for payment.
Wow.
4 now you due for payment. No. 2, 1, Kufuor the year 750. Yetuaka. NDC made provision, creating a sinking fund and all that. The second one you due no. And so 750. MPP for Netua Sakano. And the NHS said, can you move about 1.5 billion? 2 are due. The second one I due no, due this month of July. And you default on 2 billion US dollars Euro bond, including interest. Because our bond, you just say you can interest na before the bond actually matured. And you were 2 billion a principal, I will say you plus interest na egusuno depending on time you and time of maturity.
Exactly.
On the average about 18 months. You okay. If you say na egusu tia sa kanwa, it's how growth no more as your growth of first quarter growth of 4.7 in your man. Artificial. Yeah. Because if you pay that debt servicing, you will not get that growth. Okay, but we are walking around praising ourselves that the economy is doing so well because we are not factoring other things, in the economy. Now, the Akanoa MPP for Canon Kwa, I say Kufuor 750 principal America was some no. Yeah, 3.75 billion. MPP for the 11 billion. Our margin 12 no margin here, 11 billion.
That's right.
2 billion are you due Now, first of all, what I want to understand is that you had the 14 billion. And then you acquire a negotiation of 13 billion. So 1 billion no afahin. So we want a breakdown, and I have provided a chart of all the Eurobond we have done to date.
Okay.
The principal, the interest, the annual payment, the what is it called? The aggregation, and what should be paid at the end of it.
Okay, it is a breakdown, but me find out later.
Yeah, some breakdown. Now, I'm far away.
Yes.
And see, first of all, your person finance minister no ebe where all these things are now for new 4.4 billion almost say fresh money as a result of this Euro bonds.
Yes.
Me person mo be and I minority person mo be how they come about that fresh money. Obi a ye kick out of the market. Now, of course, you are going to restructure your debt. You know? How did you come up by getting fresh money? Did you borrow sika exchange a color with in that case, you know, your refinance, you know, be able to 13 billion, as they are saying. Did you borrow 17 billion and use 13 to pay your old debt and got fresh money of 14? Who need credibility for that? Secondly, almost your money savings. I'm going to choose option, but almost your money savings of 4.7 billion.
Yes.
Now, the question is a textbook, and a doctor will say, hey, what's your textbook more? That's how it should be, okay? Because who was car? Would me do your car? Now I'm relieve some into your canoe. That money will be considered as savings. Therefore, any future income because I can't do 5 years. Every year, biano. Sasi canoe some chaya and chabidi bet your corner a savings. That only happens when you are saving and when you are earning. Textbook. But when you come into practice, Ghana, Ghana, we were borrowing to service our debt. Yeah, they call it Dutiaka. And to say, what I tell some mintia, Sika Maubiumwa. And I just says, Bosiana Mobono, let me be jai. But it doesn't become a savings to you. It only becomes a savings when you actually have the money and you would bet your car, says, I say, infant to your car. And like the idea is that opportunity cost, Sasika and would bet your car. What the back be before. But that is only when you have it. But say Bosiana Oba, are you telling me say okay, Sisiano, Ubaba Bosia aye no fufro.
And as somebody you need to pay you bet me. About Bosiano.
NDC government, NDC are buying eba power in about 4 or 5 months time. The EPSA clear to Ghanaians is that MPP are buying any 4.4 billion bia and to and only year savings of any 4.7 billion. So, sir, 8 billion, I say, million. There's no money in Bank of Ghana's vault. Bank of Ghana, now I see a recapitalized one. Sikebia and Dawa, Sebio NDC, Yaba Power, Ombeka say, Sasike and MPP for Ejatu, because you need MPP for. And Baby Sonoma say, Eja, Sasike, Sasike. So they should explain to us.
Maybe a Sasika Friba.
Maybe a Sasika Friba. And we want a breakdown to prove to us, say, you have brought you fresh money of 4.4, and if there is any fresh money in this system, it looks like the exchange rate is not responding. It doesn't respond to Baumia. It doesn't respond to the finance minister. It doesn't respond. All the finance ministers on the Namloka say, well, they want 360 neighbor, a betoma mbonsa dollar no, and the dollar is getting worse.
Yeah.
Who tells you that the market was already factoring in your mom no Ukrainian and trust some women. Therefore, the dollar is not responding to anything. And so these are the things that we in the minority
more expected. You remember at that breakdown, which has got to do with the finance minister na beka na ebetimi di adane bi aba ye prem etibia so ye no so. But doc, what I mean on the surface of it, you know, the honorable Kwaku Rekete raise, you know, a your major concern. Wabra media budget review no eba no. What line it to be a wujina nana?
Yo, Kwame, Midasi, say you having me on your show this morning. First of all, Honorable, good morning. Me jina ufidie iso na media chia His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his running mate Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman for the vision that he has for this country, for which reason, or the 24-hour economy policy neighbor. Because there were honey say, who be Sami, my expectations
media budget
for
review.
This media budget.
Yeah, you remember 24-hour economy.
I am telling you that there's nothing good that is going to come out of the finance minister's media budget review.
Say.
Assembly say when we send your honorable achichire bond nimu.
Ono open no kurebi.
Yes. Wachire eka ye di ayentimi ntua.
Yes.
And I'm re ayeko IMF no. Around 2022, okay, into 2025 no. Our bond around that time, if you pull it together no, ebe say 3 billion IMF di maye no. Honorable is here, he should confirm that or say no. Inti na amafo bisa me say okay, say no IMF loan na eba no.
Obeben kasemu na mame.
IMF loan na eba no. Ebetumi abua economy na. And I make a try say in honesty entimi nya hwie. Do you know why? Because udika 3 billion within the period that IMF ema wo say sika no. Inti sika odi ma wo no, ohun say omo aye den. Omo so that as your debts are maturing, you can use it to pay it. Inti sa sika no enya sika is say wunye den. Unfa nche ubotum na unfa. Are you getting the point?
And with all the tranches of sika no with them answer ye benya yana empempi na gina eguta ho aye ne omo aye de omo ka no bedie. And no honorable person ohunu no kure no e free finance minister hono say
there's no savings. Sometimes, last time, no me who said finance minister and the new one, baby sir, say
United Kingdom.
Okay, the economy is doing well, we are bouncing back, and I'm saying that this is not a preaching job. As the finance minister, you're going to be preaching there. Are you preaching? Who preaching a prosperity message? No. Because you've not done anything. As a matter of fact, in 2025...
Was he just preaching or inspiring confidence in the economy?
No. You know, when you got your fundamentals right, confidence will naturally come in. We know what we are talking about. We say, until right now, our debt is waiting for us. 2 billion waiting. In 2025, some 1.5 billion will be maturing again.
2026.
Ebekwa koye 3.5 billion.
And a bilateral agreement, you know.
Yes.
The bilateral debt, you know, yeah.
That man in yekwa kofa him. But JM, in his wisdom, is trying to organize the 24-hour economy. That is the reason why I'm saying I'm greeting him and thanking him for his vision and love for this country. Because 24-hour economy policy, you know, say wunni odo mawumaya, you can't bring it, you can't implement it because it demands fiscal responsibility. Fiscal responsibility. How do you say it in Twi? Fiscal responsibility. Okay, and as who are allocating resources, you have to be very, efficient in your resource allocation.
But Sabre or the media budget review by you bet me, we bet my dine a D. Your election year, we bet my dine a D. Quanya, on bench of fiscal responsibility. And I am be as Amerano, ewo fiscal responsibility, Emerano, ewo. I didn't think any eduma.
Now maybe so say, Kafrao, Emrabe. Na ye juma and I say ye juma sisi or MPP are my mum. No. They take loans without regard to, the procedures. Debt exchange. Mutra mu office or baby and a Excel spreadsheet. Say say. Do they regard anybody? But it is a mid-year review. Honorable, or Kasa Ewo. Our external debt component. And now when we're doing the debt exchange, I say, even say, debt exchange, I said both domestic, any external, 85-90% success crown. That will not help our economy. Because the problem of the economy is not just about the fact, say, kanu amlin ye, say, kanu dos no do. Now, so it's about irresponsibility. Inti, say, bibi betima, Abba papa dear say yen hwe senior ye spend ye sika yen free economy no. That is why we are talking about downsizing of the economy. And Kwame, please permit me the tree it mean massa nanso
flow
and make tree. Now a month for say the way MPP under Nana Adodankwa is governing Ghana is disheartening. Because if you are a government, you come do something. Well, baby. Now, so we raise one. I so why then? Not being so bad. What you don't want to do, say you will leave.
Or how
any for the person to come. No.
I don't know more young.
I say 2025.
Yeah.
By the time GM takes office as president of the republic, we have about 3.5 billion debt USD that we have to pay. the one that is outstanding, and that is on the foreign side, Keko. Any the be mature that year. Until if you are in debt of 3.5, well, now obi Dwaboase bi wo baby. I mean, will you say you have done anything? No. And now say when you are no cry, you have to use that money to pay your debt. Until that is why whatever thing they do in the economy, it is not showing. Sorry, I have to.
So it's not the case that the dollar is not responding to Baumia. It's not the case that the dollar is not responding to Aminanda. But rather, a point more fasua, Omudi Esika no nama, we are bound, doc. Because no, I didn't dollar not responded to the authorities.
Dollar no, it will respond when there isn't too much demand on it in the economy. Dollar will respond when you have good reserve. Okay, we used to have cocoa loans.
Syndicated loans, yeah.
Anytime the cocoa loans come in, we say, now there's some form of stability.
No crap.
Now, this is saying, what has happened? By 2016, total cocoa production was around 960,000 metric tons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please, are you getting me?
Sure.
And last year was around 500, right?
Yes.
500 metric tons. I mean, how did we,
Yeah, then you withdrew.
I mean, meanwhile, you say you are doing planting for food and jobs, spraying cocoa farms and all of that. So syndicated loan, that 2016 we had about 1.something billion. Now you can't even have $1 billion. Dollars.
It will how no major. Wabro moko.
Oh, how kwa.
Yamra immediately said a bit about 24-hour economy so tenta me brain team. Honorable immediately yem prim tibia ya ye womi. Your election year. Election year media budget review near Bekin Kanchi. I don't know, maybe I'm dreaming. Would you just a matter say? And as yen I better say, Minister Nekas, oh, Sabradia, you best say also. Now what can you bet when your GD won't move? So we bet me I exhibit fiscal responsibility wabra ye kwa about with them. And I feel so you ma anyone a care diet so and crowd what the would you dada. And you may anyone said your normal boys ya costro and yet saying a normal boy a costro. You see the new some. Will you say you bet to be their found any money me no bet by you be ana.
Well, first of all, situation in your is here as a minor. Your cost of living is very high. I mean, though inflation it could do 54 or something now above from no.
Yeah.
So when you look at the components of inflation, food inflation is still very high, and in the for a 20. So if you are not able to bring those things down, now artificially you've grown the economy to 4.7, but be a BBR or 4.7 last year, and then when you BBR, fewer prices are going up.
Okay. Exchange
Rate is going up. Yet they have saved us 4.4 billion. They are what is it called, bringing in fresh money. When you're 360 from the IMF, then it's like the exchange rate doesn't respect the MPP government. Oh, say, we are no be asro. Say a dollar now asro. Ombu MPP for no mbu baumia. Obi se watching ejeli no dollar down and am. Obi se ye disika bemushe dollar said the be. Who said dollar no Ethiopia.
Wow.
So they have failed, monumental failure on Omo economic policies. Now, when you come to the Omo flagship programs now, you take them one by one. They have all failed. Maybe Ubechimia can say free education, but Enokrano, the implementation has been abysmal. Okay, free education there is in our constitution that Ghana education should be progressively free. No more buy almost your no preko.
Yeah.
No more they did not think through the cost. Kaisa Nana Akufo-Addo could be say UK also. He be under the cost. He couldn't tell them. Obviously, it tells him that it wasn't properly planned. But we are here. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who started progressive free education. No, free free education, he was already on his path. And he said, I'm going to me and sign. Into your back to your son, why you know, no quite so. The way our office of free education, I was saying, because we need to resolve that problem there. Otherwise, we are pouring more money into that area. It's like a leaking bucket. You are doing the right thing, like filling a bucket of water. But if the bucket is leaking now, ensure that okay. You come to planting for food
and jobs.
And that is the amazing one. Macau studio have Macan in several places. Imagine if we were not doing planting for food and jobs. Ghana is the only country, and I keep saying that the more food we plant, the less we harvest. Because planting for food in the end, so she almost started phase 2. Phase 1, we were pouring about 600 million into this planting for food alone, not the Ministry of Agriculture, not the budget. About 600 million was going into planting for food and jobs. Yet, your cocoa production, as Doc said, is going down.
Yeah.
It's been going down as a result of so many factors.
Including Galamsey,
of course. You get, because cocoa, the gold is cocoa, and into a cocoa into gold. You know, so Bibia, there had been a monumental failure. They don't have a clue in the economy they are managing.
So the Babeka.
Only I think the good description of Doc the man was a lay preacher who's trying to. It's like he or kind economy wants some economy not be good, you know. And when you say anything, not to criticize them but to point out, say these are when Mkoye, you see we a nation wrecker.
Yeah, and or say and no can be na yabedru baby ayedri. Also more NDC mo kasa no. The way you are talking down the economy, no, a company near bedroom baby, I have bedroom.
So with the foam, what to foam? No big kick from wa. Because I know one more foam. Why would the foam do that? See, the kick. If you will say, Nama, it's not true. The economy, as I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, let's forget about saying the Kasakasana.
Sure.
Emmanuel. So 4.4 billion, and these are very serious because. These guys are going to use money. This is just asiki, and I want us to kill that notion there. Asiki because there's no money like that there. Munya 360 from the World Bank, from the IMF. Munya bisu from World Bank and then Africa Development Bank. Nina dollar no baby ojina ya no ojina na say ekofomua. Anya na kick economy down. The dollar, as Baumiana famously said, if your exchange rate, you know, and your economy is weaker,
exchange rate, so there's nothing about my car. If I prim tibiano,
say ye prim tibiano. I am so serious. I mean, the poverty level, Siciano, I am very high. Income disparity, I am very wide. So we don't actually have a chance. I mean, at the moment, as President Mahama and Professor Nano Pokwajiman are saying, you know, this economy needs some resetting. Ya resetting economy. Ne, there another 4 years kakasa abayin hua. I tell you what, there will be nobody left here.
Doc, with pointing and now raise, you know, conclude my nafi fire 24-hour economy because baby, honorable Urano, HSA, NDC seem to have a magic wand. And ono wo ususu no 24-hour economy no nebeti mama economy na are resetting ho obetire match but make a final point wo
yo inti na ubisa say what are our expectations. First of all, you know that we are in Dunso. So say no lights no ko na eba na your gadgets na say and that is happening because of data we are owing to the independent power producers, the IPPs. Honorable may feed me in here. I think it's about 2 billion that we owe in. USD. IPPs, no. Yes, USD. It's not cedis. It is a say, no. Because we are owing them, no. Some of them have reduced their production. Some of them probably are not even producing at all. finance minister should tell us what government is going to do about the energy sector debt, so that you do some
1.4 billion.
1.4 billion.
Yes.
Okay. You know, figures depends on who picks it. You know, the IPPs more can say, and the government say because of some few parities here and there.
IPPs are saying 1.9 billion.
Yes, so that's almost 2 billion. That's 2 billion. Until finance minister should tell us, say, okay, we are owing IPPs 2 billion. This is what we're going to do about it, so that the doomsaw will stop. Transferring the Ameri power plant from Tadi, Yediko Kumase no, or no, and to solve the problem. So I want to hear, or Ghanaians want to hear, what the government has to do about that.
One can.
Number 2.
Yes.
Oh, say banking sector cleanup. Now, that year there was about 25 billion Ghana cedis budgeted for the payment of depositors' monies to them. And now what we did was that what they did, they said, 80% of individual debt holders. But that number accounted for about 20% of the total debt. Please, are you getting me? Because those are the lower end holders, It is a say, there is a bigger chunk of people who invest 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 500, 1 million, Sometimes, Mr. President can say they're going to pay that money. We want to hear whether there is allocation for that, so that those guys will have their money back. Then number 3, the domestic debt exchange, which is pensioners or suffer or because they've taken their money away.
True.
We want to ask, what is the state of that debt exchange now? The fund that was created, the best supportive banks, Well, say banks, because we've done the debt exchange, they are going to, suffer liquidity crisis. How much was given to the banks? Any? Then the details. Say bank way or say bank way or say any money. I want us to get some highlights or information or clarity. Free finance ministry, and then because really, I don't know. Then the final one has to be with the allowances for
nursing trainees.
Yes, say, Mr. Minister, have you paid them?
He said, Vice President.
Exactly. Vice President say, yeah, and school girl knows on him says, our question, into a bisa or can say, me bar school, ye best 4 years, me allowance near Trebida. So that means that for 4 years running,
academy.
So it is a say no, and the Vice President said, Mr. Minister, go and pay.
But the can be what ye.
Are you aware that our reserves are down? You need reserve. Reserve is how much money you have outside. Now say we better there we better outside. Well, now say can say a dosso a ma pressure ma you local dollar.
That's right.
It means so it be ni ho say bi wo ho you better akọ den akọ bi di ba betua. Inti nurses training allowance. Have they paid it? Umbetua now da ben na umbeden umbetua ma
and umbeja how na ma John Mahama ne NDC about.
And then finally,
okay,
the cocoa sector. What is it that they are doing to solve, to shove up the production of cocoa? Because we've reduced from 960 to under 500.
500, yeah.
And that is putting a lot of burden. So at least you should tell us something about that before they leave in December or January 7th.
Okay.
At least.
Now to that point of resetting on my Ghana economy. And yet then, and what you would say 24-hour economy, and a bit of Buamasa to be anaba.
Right. I would say when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama announced that our flagship policy is going to be the 24-hour economy. No? A month for Ghanaians, and all areas, boardrooms, civil society discussions, omu discussing 24-hour economy. No? Now, the me say the 24-hour economy is not a policy. It has never happened before. It is policy. It has happened in advanced countries. Kwame Minkah, by all means, where to find that? If you work in London, you hustle, Kakra, and I say US, and I say Canada, you know. If you go to US, they have that system. You go to France, they have it, Germany, and Asian countries. So it is not any idea. We can say, Nanso Ghana dear new. It is all about the fact, say no, your economy assay, your sick so assay, unemployment was high, inflation was high, your debt near into ya. Say your mum send your munu. If we continue to run this economy the way we are doing, probably, and that's my estimation, it could take us between 20, 25, and 30 years to get back to proper position.
Wow.
But the 24-hour economy is looking at how we can go faster to achieve this reversal of
I
the
bet
economy.
take it 30 years.
30 years. If we can work hard for the next 10 years and we can reverse the state to, let's say, even 2016 levels. And when we are talking those levels, we are not saying that the GDP will be the same. We are saying that the key macroeconomic indicators will begin to take that form. Our debt to GDP could come down. All of those things. Inflation should come to maybe single digits. Revenue will soar up. Inti said these things happen, food prices will automatically come down. Inti, it's a vehicle. Okay, the 24-hour policy framework is a vehicle. It is. What is it that we should do to get us to where we want to get to faster?
Okay, and illustrate said the 24-hour economy.
If you look at the screen, TV, I have done this illustration to show the difference between the 24-hour economy and other economic policies. Okay. So we do say that 24-hour economy is a vehicle. It is a policy framework. Moving from one location to the other. Please get it. So if it is a vehicle, then there should be specific policy that should be loaded on the vehicle. So then we have maybe a policy on health, policy on education, policy on investment, policy on manufacturing and production, policy, all of those things. Senior free SHS, Ayanu Basai, say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Abba, with the, how to adopt it within the 24-hour framework to reform it, to, the E-blocks, to build more and even build more hostel facilities around these E-block enclaves to make secondary education better. You know what I mean? So there's not cancellation, but what we should do to improve it. Now to the board. So, Kwame, if you look at the board, you will see something like a motorbike.
I actually Afran Tony Omo Maka.
Okay. Into anu die na me ye ni say obi nso ni policy no.
Right.
Ni policy vehicle no. And I made one no ube hu bibi ti say bus.
Okay.
It's a bus.
And also Baolaya digitalization.
Okay. Now in fact, let's say Baumia and digitization, okay? It could be typo or that kind. But you see that, bus there. Then you will also see another vehicle. Now, so that vehicle, your friend, then
JDM and the 24-hour economy.
Very good. Indeed, dear, me Me person mechanism.
Eti mame mo atie fo ne ahwefo. Eye afrafranto and the others no. Eye moto, bike. Ena de won vivi na eye baul mia baulaya no. Digitalization no. And also your boss. Ena de toso bien say ye JDM and 24-hour economy no. Eye aduple.
Okay. Inti uti say ye can say the policy is a vehicle. I be move you from one place to the other. Inti say no, these are the 3 vehicles. Except say one we call it motorbike, the other one we call it bus, the other one we call it an aircraft. It is a one for motorbike way, free Accra has a who Kumasi. How many hours will it take you? Okay. So the bus, free Accra say who Kumasi. How many hours will it take you? Okay. Now say who for plane, free Accra say who Kumasi. How many hours will it take you? So what we are saying is that is the superiority of the 24-hour economy policy. Please, you have to understand it. You can go with digitalization or any form of economic policy. It may get you there, but it could take you 25 years or 30 years. If you take motorbike, maybe it will take you 35 years. Are you getting me? But if we go with the faster economic policy vehicle, which is the 24-hour economy, John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, and the NDC Omuka, it means, say, we will get to our destination and we'll get there better. Oh, excuse me to say faster. Please, are you getting me? This is an illustration. So that is the superiority of a 24-hour economy policy. Your opponents no ahoya. It pains them, say it is not them that are bringing the 24-hour economy policy because they can't bring it. Minkah said, "Sa policy no, here discipline, here love for country, here vision, here you produce more, you consume less." Well, sa discipline, you need to war. About we
it's better than Sano ma way in Abba. Why there was your discipline? One was a what die or ready. Why there was a what share production? Of course, why?
You've taken the slide from the
slide.
That is the 24-hour economy policy. Nipa ejinachi Obabe implementing His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Inti the 24-hour economy policy is not a policy for John Mahama and the NDC. It is a policy for this country. What it means, ni say, if we start the implementation, okay, from 2025, when GM is not going to be president forever, will he? When he leaves, whoever comes to continue. So take areas like manufacturing and production. If we improve that 4 years, Obi Nsubeba, Obe continue. Education, we improve it. Obi Beba, Obe continue. Agriculture, we have done mechanical farming. That kind of thing. Yeah. Now we need mechanization. We need modernization. Into the 24-hour economy policy. And say I'm for in the night too. The actually say, what is it? Government pay that we will improve agricultural production, mechanization. Crop yield. Okay, so what do? Do we talk of more tractors? Do we talk of, better implements so that but you have like maybe 20 or 30 acres of some kind of farm somewhere. Yeah. If tractors are made available, affordable for you, would be plow wasasian ube say ube dua nyama bebre na den eduane so beba bebre. It's about the mechanization, the modernization. Look at an area like rice farming. Rice farming untimu kwa jina as so say na who cultivate rice say na cultivate a brew na say dabi entisa. Rice land, you have to treat it. You have to create canal, get water in there because rice consuming issue. The whole of Accra Plains, we can do something over there. Okay. You go to the north, the same thing. Some parts in central, they also do rice. So we expand the cultivation fields, give them implements. One thing that is we actually suffer is that after the rice producers have produced their rice, the harvesting and the packaging becomes problematic. Even before getting to market. Into Ben say, more harvesting rice, but the rice will be there. Ben say 3 months now, to even packaging.
So, the organizer, Massa Bond say, by your bond, say, wrap up your time now. So, I don't know. You wrap up. It would what's a bit cut to Ebeba source of honorable. Chamber Quanya 24-hour economy. No, Ebeba reset or my Ghana. Yesikasem. What Mediterranean? Okay.
When we talk about a 24-hour economy, your opponent, I say, Upu, sa, you know. Their dog kind it's either say, no, nobody buy it, therefore, person just say it can't be good. Or they don't, you know, with all Dr. Baumia and he's being a whiskey in your man, he doesn't actually say, unto me, who's our vision, just doesn't get it.
Honorable, I've never interrupted you, but I will say that it's not because Omu get you. It's a mischief.
Political mischief. But
I want to look at it in two ways.
Yes. Okay,
just
Honorable. To be sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah. Now, the 24-hour economy is a game changer. In fact, it is the only game changer in town at the moment to address a situation as far as our economy is concerned. With your 24-hour economy, it's not just one policy. 24-hour economy is a multiplicity. Just a policies, baby. Actually, 24-hour economy to address so many things. The two critical areas are President Mahama in his wisdom or the 24-hour economy by it's about ramping up our production. Maybe your production will form. So the idea in say 24-hour no your production control. Because if you are producing 8 hours and you are to produce 24 hours, then your production will go up, especially in the critical area of the economy. The second one is about employment. One of the problems we are facing in this country is about youth unemployment.
Okay.
And employment generally is too high, and it's a time bomb for this country. So if you are addressing a production situation in terms of the consuming and the exporting, now I'm saying unshare employment. Now I'm making sure a lot of our youth this country will be going down and down and down.
Okay.
So that's our 2 ways. Let me expand that.
Unfortunately,
Into production as some kind. What was that and saying KTM or air you wanted to what is it called ban certain things and all that. In 24-hour economy, you have in there, if you are going to do an import substitution, we should be producing the things ourselves before you can ban them from coming to this country. 24-hour economy will cure that. Come to our currency. If we spend a lot of money in bringing certain things into this country, and we are able to produce those things here, then the exchange rate will stabilize. So when we come across just 5 policies na shabakum. But for example, bakum fancy. Uko Krobia in front of Uganda. About 25 sugar factories in that country, almost about the same size of Ghana. President Mahama, in his wisdom, Kwame Minkah's sugar factory, President Mahama, in his wisdom, decided to say, instead of spending about $500 million in bringing sugar into this country, and destabilizing a currency, we will rebuild the sugar factory here, and that's why Commander was built. MPP Baumia and Dr. Nana Akufo-Addo decided that Omoma factory in Yejuma. So they said all sorts of things about that. Now, supposing that we are able to get, me say, Ghana in producing sugar, Uganda have 25 factories. So even to catch up with Uganda, you will need about 8 factories, even if you are doing 24-hour economy. So if we were able to revive Commander Sugar Factory as President Mahama had planned, and we add a 24-hour economy to it, it means that the initial plan of Commander Sugar Factory working for 8 hours will now change to 24 hours, which will be 3 shifts, which will require 3 times the number of people that otherwise would have worked there. We were looking at about 7,000 direct and indirect jobs.
Yeah.
So if you are doing 24-hour economy, then what that means is that that number you are looking at being employed direct and indirect will be tripled.
Very well. Unfortunately, me brain
you need a whole program for 24 hours.
For 24-hour economy. And
as Doc said,
next week, the way you people are communicating, I'm not hearing anything.
we need to, some mischief now, we need to.
It will next week.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, next week.
It's a budget has some never cost.
Sure.
And then they are twice. And also maybe later in the week.
Very well. Eti Doc, next time you better and come so now yet to me. I said 24-hour economy no. Any change is it unfortunately.
But I like Doc's illustration. A very, very powerful illustration. The motorbike, the bus,
and then the aeroplane.
Which means that 24-hour economy, whatever will get you there
faster and quicker. And that's all. I was saying, if when you were so, now you did you made another area. Eventually, I got me out of my bye bye.